Welcome back. It's been a little while. This is the Big Moves podcast. I'm your host, Bo Belmont with Belwood Investments. And yeah, like I said, it's been a few months now that we haven't done an episode, so there's a lot to catch up on. We have some really cool topics to discuss today. One of those being some of our current projects that are just out of this world. And then some updates to some of our technical platforms, our app, which can be a little clunky at times. Our website, which is a disaster. It looks good, looks like a Ferrari from a distance, but when you get up close, it runs like a Ferrari, but it looks like a Pinto up close. So not super excited about that, but we just took on some really cool talent, Dave Contreras, and so he's going to be knocking that stuff out of the park for us. We're super stoked. So we're going to be welcoming Dave to the platform. Also, we have some properties in Beverly Hills and in Hollywood Hills that I got to tell you about. The application, and then even next episode, we'll be talking about our move to Greece. We're moving to Greece. So no, we're not moving to Greece, but we might be buying some properties in Athens, which are really cool, and we're super stoked to be buying out in that area. So let's hit it off with what's going on with Belwood. If you're new to the subscription, or this is a new type of thing for you, we are a real estate investment company, but what we've done is we've fractionalized the risk, the cost, everything associated with flipping homes. We've mitigated that. We've eliminated so many factors that could really hurt an investor, and we've just created a beautiful system. So if you haven't downloaded the Belwood Investor app, please do. It's in Apple and Android stores. And thank you for subscribing to the Big Moves podcast. We're also on YouTube, so don't forget to like and subscribe over there as well. So let's talk about our house next to Rihanna. So I actually saw her. A while back. I think it was her. She was around a bunch of people, and she was kind of organizing maybe a big party or something. There was a big truck with chairs being put out, hosting a huge event. Could have been somebody else. I don't know. I really saw the back, but her house is massive. I mean, it takes up the whole hillside, and we're right around the corner, and we're sandwiched in between a couple famous people as well. I don't know who exactly. One of them is Richard Franklin. He's a famous photographer, but it just gives you kind of a feel of where we're at up in the Hollywood Hills. The view is crazy. It's stunning. You're looking at Hollywood and downtown. Nothing is in the way of your view. So we're super excited about that one. That one's Sunset View Plaza. And we have a bunch of great investors with that one. What we're doing, guys, with that is this home had a bunch of water damage. So not only are we repairing that, but we're opening it up. It was a tragedy. When you walked into this home, you saw a big wall. You weren't able to see the view. So what we did, and this is where the kitchen is, what we did was we created a kitchen that isn't really there, right? The cabinets that we chose look like wood, and the countertops look like stone, but not like you would expect in a traditional kitchen. The appliances are hidden. What we want people to focus on when they walk through the front of this home is the view. Look at the view. So we completely reconstructed the upper level and have created the ultimate Hollywood Hills party pad. So something that people have always wanted to invest in. I'm sure a star or an upcoming celebrity is going to buy this home because it's an entertainer's dream. And that's what people live in the Hollywood Hills for, is for the entertainment factor. So I think we really hit the nail on the head with this one. Cup number 4. They're small cups, though. They're relatively small cups. So I'm excusing myself. There's probably 2 big cups of coffee. Either way, this is what gets me through the day. What's the next property? Well, the next property is in a zip code that maybe you have heard before. It's 90210. And as a kid, I always grew up thinking, wow, that is the most awesome place in the world. That and Bel Air, right? So it was Fresh Prince of Bel Air and 90210. It was, it called me as a child, and it might call you too. And if it does, Belwood is your company because we do real estate in Beverly Hills and Bel Air. Like, this is not something that is strange to us. So if you want to invest in Beverly Hills or Bel Air real estate, you got to download the Belwood Agent, the Belwood Investor app. Don't let me get started on the Belwood Agent app. So all of you agents out there who are impacted by the new rules that just came down from NAR, well, hey, we're going to be your new best friend. So that's a whole new episode. But for those of you that watch Fresh Prince of Bel Air or watched 90210, Beverly Hills 90210, and had the crushes like I had, then here is your opportunity to invest in those types of property, in the flats, in Truesdale, Ultimate Truesdale. So the property we just bought is on Loma Vista, and it's in Truesdale. And let me tell you, absolutely an amazing home. Don't get me wrong, but this is a type of home that we've remodeled before. We've done homes like this. It's the location. So we've taken something that we've perfected in much more affordable areas, and now we're able to implement this type of skill set in an area with tremendous wealth and history, right? Who doesn't want to live and play in Beverly Hills? I'm sure there's a few songs about that. So Belwood is taking this home and opening it up and transforming it and making it a beautiful modern home. So that is just a tremendous project. The investors, we just had some visit the job site yesterday and take some pictures. I didn't get a heads up. They didn't wear a hard hat. So if you want to visit a Belwood home, if you're investing with Belwood, you can visit the homes, right? We just want you to sign a little disclaimer that you're not going to get hurt and you're going to wear a hard hat, and you can go see what you've invested in. How many investment companies are you able to invest with? You invest with Belwood, right? We do this together on a project. How many times are you able to visit these homes? Often with me. I love to visit these properties and really explore what your money is doing for you. Often people invest and just kind of hope for the best. They don't really see the product that is being invested in. They'll get a chart every quarter or at the end of the year with some red lines and some green lines and some projections. But at the end of the day, it's shrouded. It's a cloudy type of investment. There's no real clarity and there's nothing really tangible. Well, with Belwood, we did the opposite. We want you to visit these investment opportunities. We want you to price them out and look at different comparables to see what you're doing, firsthand. This is real estate. It involves people. This is not crypto. This is not something you can do digitally. You have to have boots on the ground. You have to have a human aspect. So we've done that. We've taken all the complexities out of this investment, and we've created a platform for you to invest in real estate with Belwood in Beverly Hills and in the Hollywood Hills. So super cool. The next property is more or less in our hometown of Sacramento. Our corporate office is in Folsom, which is just east of Sacramento. But we found a property, an historic property in downtown Sacramento on 21st Street. Check out this address, 700 21st Street. This house is absolutely amazing. It's historic. There was a judge that lived there. I think there was a governor at one point in time. It's a monster. It's beautiful. Now, what we bought was something that needed work. It had been maintained over time, but it was very old. All the tile in there was old. Some of the plumbing was old, but the bones in the facade were absolutely stunning. So what we decided to do was to go in there and retain as much historical significance as we possibly could. Now, the stain on the wood paneling on the inside was very dark and kind of gloomy. which was great for the period. But for us, we want the opposite. We want somebody to walk in this and feel, bright and lively. They're just spending a couple $1 million on a piece of property in Sacramento. That's a lot of money in Sacramento. Here in Orange County, that's just a drop in the bucket. So with that being said, the demand for quality and finish is of its highest at this price point in Sacramento. Excuse me. So what we've done is we've gone through there and meticulously identified what is going to give this home the old world charm and what can we add in here that's going to give it the new modern feel that people want when they're spending that type of money in this area. And so I personally walked through this home with our designers and we came up with an exquisite project. And it was on the market for a very short period of time in which we had an exact offer price. I actually listed this one higher than what our expectations were. Our expectations were $1.75 million. Well, our budget was also significantly less. But I made the executive decision as the captain of this ship to kind of steer it in a different direction. Why? Because of what our neighbors had done and a new home that had listed directly across the street, what they had done to their properties. So we spent the extra dollars. Belwood came in with the capital. We didn't raise the money from other investors. We came in with the capital to transform another segment of this property. We didn't want to just do a once-over remodel. Now, it would have been beautiful, but it would have lacked some of these major components. That brought it up to a $2 million value. So we exceeded our original scope of work to dramatically increase the value, and we were exactly successful with that. We were on the market no less than 3 days with a full price offer, and we closed on the 6th of April with a slated 48% return when we originally quoted 28% return. This was purchased in June of last year. This is a 48% return in less than a year. So we're super excited. Our investors are super excited. We close on the 6th. So by next episode, we'll be able to tell you the success story and the closing of this property. But for right now, keep your fingers crossed that we don't have any hiccups. We got a request for repair items. So for 4 items, which as you can imagine on a home that is over 110 years old, there are going to be some items that a home inspector are going to find. Well, he did his inspection and we got that report back and it's no problem. Maybe $5,000 worth of work. I offered them a $5,000 credit in lieu of us doing the work. We'll see if he accepts that. If not, we'll be able to do the work ourselves and have that done probably in 2 days with 2 guys. So relatively affordable expense. We'll have it back to him exactly like the buyer wanted, and we will have a seamless closing on the 6th, and our investors will be taking back their investment along with a 48% return. So kudos to them. Another successful Belwood transactions. Cheers, cheers. On to the next, which we look forward to listing one in Arcadia, which I got to tell you a little bit about Arcadia. Now, when we bought Loma Vista, it had water damage from insurance claim, who knows what happened, whatever. You never really know what goes on in the Hollywood Hills. Crazy stuff. So what we did was we found this beautiful folding door set. Now, here in the Hollywood Hills, everything has to be really tall. I mean, tall doorways, big windows. Look at that view. But what they had was just your standard height door height of these folding doors. Anyways, I took them out, said, hey, we need to transplant these to our home in Arcadia with traditional ceiling heights. What we did, so we completely opened up this wall, put in a huge beam. Now we have this 20-foot long folding door set that we were able to salvage from a multi-million-dollar property in the Hollywood Hills. Talk about recycling. This window is about $40,000. So, the cost to transport it and to install it was a little bit more than what our budget had called for. But think about the dramatic effect now. The windows fold open and it literally leads directly to our pool. So a completely dramatic effect worth every dollar. Now with Belwood, you typically wouldn't have these opportunities with anyone else. As a matter of fact, there is no other company like Belwood. So if you're looking for one, good luck, right? So here is a good example of what we do to go the extra mile. Our designers are able to identify products on a different home. Now, what may not be good for Beverly Hills will absolutely be good for a home in Arcadia. Or, hey, we can always ship that stuff up to Northern California and use a product that was in Beverly Hills and we have to remove it. It was so 2022, right? And we can put it into something in Sacramento and it won't even be ever seen before. It's like brand new. And no, I'm not hating on Sacramento, but I'm telling you, the designers in Beverly Hills and Hollywood Hills, they're ahead of their game. I know this because I'm designing 2 houses and I've really had to step up my copycat game, right? Because I don't try to be a designer. I just look at what the designers are designing and I apply it to something that we have, an applicable subject. And that's what we've done with Loma Vista and Hollywood Hills. I'm not going to recreate the wheel. I'm going to simply copy the other designers, not to a T. I don't want to get any copyright infringements or anything like that, but I definitely do something very close to it, right? I don't recreate the wheel. So we're super excited. Our designers are able to come in there. They're able to say, we can use this, this, and this over here. Is it financially worth it? Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is. We'll make that decision. And if it is, that product will be put over there. So another cool aspect of Belwood doesn't happen all that often, but as we continue to grow, absolutely, we're able to, and think about the savings, not only to our investors or the new opportunity, but let's think about the environment, right? There's a huge, impact when we're buying all this product for a home. And really one of the cool green things about Belwood is we're taking something old and we're recycling it, we're making it new. Right? There's recycled material in that Gucci bag I promised you somewhere. So this home, the Belwood home, is a Gucci bag and it has some recycled material in there, but for the most part, it's new leather and it's a new smell and it's a new feel, right? But we've used recycled bones and often these bones are better than what you can get right now. True timber size. Some of this wood is so old, like in 21st, it's almost petrified. It's like stronger than you can ever build something today. And so, we're super excited to be able to take a product with these strong bones and redo it and put it out to the public. The next thing, guys, that we got going on is our application. The kind of looks good Ferrari from a distance. You get up close and it's a Pinto, but it runs like a Ferrari, right? That's what I'm talking about right now. So our app developers are great app developers. They're wonderful. We've partnered with them. We've been designing this together. That is one huge aspect of our company, right? Is the application of technology. So our app is more for function right now. We wanted to get it out there for functionality purposes, but ultimately we needed it to operate and run like a Ferrari. So that's what we're doing right now, and that's what Dave is doing. He's making our application not only run like a Ferrari, but actually look like a Ferrari, and vice versa. It doesn't run quite like a Ferrari. Belwood runs like a Ferrari, but our technology is keeping up, right? It's trying to keep up. So keep an eye out for our application. What is that going to do? Well, it's going to remove all the confusing stuff and provide you with all the tools you need to make a knowledgeable, easy real estate investment decision. But along the way, it's going to be digestible, right? I basically told these guys that, hey, this needs to be so easy. Someone in 3rd grade would understand what it's like to invest in real estate and not be too complex. And I'm going to reference a company that I feel is a rival. They just don't know it yet. And that's Robinhood. Those of you who trade stock understand that Robinhood took something and they further fractionalized it. Now, it had already been fractionalized to a certain extent in the past, but now it was easily accessible and digestible for those of you and me that never invested in stocks. So they took it and made it accessible. We are the real estate version of them. We want to make this easy and digestible. Now, not easy to make just any old decision, easy to educate yourself to then make a wise decision. We'll provide you the tools you need to look up a property and then give a comparable value or receive a comparable value and then make a wise decision based on those numbers. We won't go through with a property unless we fully approve it, and we'll be going through with it with or without investors. That's how much we believe in it. Now, we always partner with people, but at the end of the day, we will never move forward with anything that jeopardizes you or us in this partnership. And that's a fact. Like I said, it's going to be transformational. It's really going to change the way people really look at real estate investing. Everybody wants an app to do things, make things easier. Well, who would have thought you could make real estate investing easy? I mean, from your couch, you can invest. And actually, with this new application, you can make decisions on the aesthetic of the home, right? We're going to tell you, hey, what do you guys like best? We're going to vote for it. Okay, let's say there's 100 investors on here. We're going to say, do you like the white clouds or the white linen or the white lily we're going to give you white sand. We're going to give you all different variations of a certain shade of white. Why the white? Because we know that white works specifically for this home in this area for the trim. We're not going to say pink, green, yellow trim. Who votes? No, it's not going to work like that. This is going to be exactly within the lines of a traditional Belwood home for that area, but giving the investor the opportunity to guide the popularity. Like, okay, we had 80% that said white linen for the trim. Okay, we're going to go with white linen. Not only is that cool, but it kind of absolves me of a little responsibility, I guess. It says, well, hey, it didn't sell in 3 days, sold in 4 days. Well, thank the white linen trim, right? Thank the white linen trim. Wasn't my call. Now, if it goes in a direction, like for some reason, if let's say we vote for a red front door, and then the day before we go to list, the neighbor paints their front door red, I'll probably make an executive decision to override that because we don't want to just be look like we're partner houses or anything like that. Oh, that's my mother-in-law. We don't. This is going to be an executive decision. So can we do that? Yes. Will we do it often? No. But it is going to give you as the investor the exciting opportunity to guide how this home is going to look. Now, some of the things are going to be expensive. And so we probably won't involve you to a certain extent. For example, like the appliances on Loma Vista. Okay, we've entered into a different world of real estate. We are now at what you would call the top segment of real estate. Now, we're probably at the bottom of the top segment. I would say the top of the top is $250 million home in Los Angeles. That's not something that we haven't seen before, but I would say that's the pinnacle of real estate in Los Angeles or the surrounding areas. And so we're just scratching the surface of this top tier. Now, once you scratch the surface of this top tier, what you're doing is you're also scratching the surface of the top tier of educated or gifted or very lucky individuals in the world with very high requirements. KitchenAid isn't going to cut it. Whirlpool, Premier, even Wolf isn't going to cut it. This is an entirely different level. So what we have in the Loma Vista house is basically two kitchens. We have a dramatic artsy kitchen, and we have a much less dramatic but fully commercially feel running functional kitchen, right? Where they really get the job done. Usually a cook or a chef will come in there and prepare their meals, or they'll do it, in there. And then they bring them out to the other kitchen and display, right? Parties, this kitchen is there, but it's not their type of feel. So we've been looking at those types of things. if you go down to Beverly Hills, you'll often see these design centers. And so what we've done is we've paid a visit to a few of those. I have, and I've been inspired, if you will. I've been inspired. I kind of have a good feel with what is a demand there. Some of these kitchens I'm looking at are $250,000 for a standard kitchen. That's a lot of money. That's a tremendous amount of money. I cannot afford a $250,000 kitchen. But what I can do is I can copy that kitchen and use applicable products sourced from affordable retailers. So Belwood has those resources. If you don't, you're going to spend $250,000 on that kitchen. So what was $250,000 will probably cost me about $150,000. Now, $150,000 is still a lot for a kitchen. I know. However, we don't only have that, but we have two kitchens. A very commercially oriented one, stainless steel this, a pull down washer, rack washer system, 6 burner commercial stainless steel range with a big old hood. We're talking get the job done for a big property and big party. We got outdoor cooking with the outdoor, barbecues in the smoker. We even have a dry age meat locker in that bad boy. You want a dry age steak? This is going to be your kitchen. But immediately on the other side of a thick wall is inside the home is a beautiful designer kitchen that is designed by yours truly, inspired by them. So that is something that we're super excited about. And if you're investing with Belwood, you get to come and look at some of these inspirations. We're going to have these updates on the app. Some of them are already on the app if you have downloaded it already. And again, it's free to download the app. It's the Belwood Investor app. It's very, very easy. And that's something I'm also going to talk about is the Belwood Agent app, because that's an amazing product. If you're a realtor out there and you work in the Beverly Hills area and you're worried about this Buyer's Commission, National Association of Realtors lawsuit win, blah, 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 and you think that you're going to be losing your commission, well, I'm sure your broker's telling you opposite with lawsuits and appeals and everything like that. But at the end of the day, we all know that realtors are a targeted subject. They really are. And there's only a matter of time before AI or some application takes more and more of your commission. However, with Belwood, we want you to double your commission. Stop doing traditional real estate. We want you to do Belwood real estate. What's Belwood real estate? Stop looking at the fancy stuff. Start looking at the ugly stuff. Mold is gold. If there's a hole in the ceiling, we want it. If there's flood damage, if there's fire damage, if there's rodent damage, if there's tenant damage, we want that home. Something that you would never show. Oh my God, I would never walk through that home. That's what I want. Then we'll give you that home back when it's fancy enough for you to walk through. Okay. And then you can do your walkthrough and then you can go ahead and make $250,000 in commission or whatever you're going to make in commission, because that's what you make in Beverly Hills, which is amazing. More power to you. We want to work with you. So we have an application for that. And that is the Belwood Agent app. Also free, also a little clunky, but it brings it back to a Ferrari. So we're working on that app. That's V2. We're going to be combining the two apps, but we will have two separate if you just don't want to do the investor one. I don't want to be influenced by all that popularity. And you just want to stick with the agent or vice versa. That's fine. That's totally fine. But the agent app can also be applied to college students that need some extra money. You walk by a house, we call it the dog walker app as well. It's not called that online. We just call that the dog walker app because if you're out walking your dog and you see an ugly house and it's overgrown and old man John has been neglecting it and really needs to sell his home, well, then you go up in front of it and you upload the address, answer a few simple questions, send it to us. We find John's phone number if you don't have it already. We call John and say, John, your yard's overgrown, your house is ugly, we'd like to give you a cash offer for it. We get a cash offer accepted by John. You get a check in the mail. You're a college student. You walk the dogs a lot. It's very simple to just stand in front of a home and upload an address of an ugly home. The ugly homes are everywhere in the United States. There's more ugly homes than nice homes, seems like, in some neighborhoods. So it's time to transform those homes, not only with making money on the side, but hey, also investing in it. So if we buy that home, guess what? It's going to go on the investor app. Now you can invest in your own neighborhood and make money as an agent, even though you don't have to be licensed, and an investor. Think about how much more money you're going to be making if you're making the commission and you're making the investment amount. Now, Belwood splits all of our profit by 50%. So you make 50%, Belwood makes 50%. We make 100 grand, you're making 50 grand, we're making 50 grand. Okay, but you're not putting in 20 or 50% of the cost. You're only putting in 20% of the cost. We have a bank. We actually have our own lending capacity. Or if we're not going to use our own lending capacity, then we'll use a private bank and they'll provide 80% of the cost associated with the acquisition and construction and everything. They'll pay for 80% of that. The other 20% is what we do, and what makes us special is we fractionalize it. We chop it all up into affordable pieces, and then we give you a pink slip, a deed of trust. The house can't be bought, sold, trade, anything until you get that pink slip back, right? Can't sell your car if you have a loan on it without that pink slip. So we provide everybody with that. Now they're an investor on that property. We buy, sell that home. Agent, if you brought us that home, you get 2 commissions. Why? Because you got one on the acquisition. You represented Belwood on the acquisition, but you also got to list that home and make the listing commission. So that's 2 for 1. You're looking for ugly homes, not nice homes. I like to say, if you found Jack and Diane, great song, their forever home, then that is your forever commission check. Do you really just want to work for 1 check, or do you want 2? So you will double your commission working with Belwood, looking for the ugly house. Mold is gold, right? Remember that. It's kind of funny. Mold is gold, right? Look for those houses, and it will not only provide our investors with a great opportunity, but you as an agent with a tremendous opportunity. So that is the Belwood Agent app, free, Apple, Android, all of the above. It's super cool. Download it. Now, the new version's coming out soon, so it's going to get even better. But for right now, if this is something that you want to focus on, agent or not, you can, and you can make really good money at this, walking dogs, looking at ugly houses. Which, there are ugly houses in Beverly Hills, a tremendous amount, and a lot of old money, and these homes need work, and they're being purchased. Some people say, oh, well, what about the market, Bo? Go drive through Hollywood Hills and Beverly Hills and tell me these people are worried about the market. There is billions and billions and billions of dollars being invested in these hills because they know real estate. They know if it goes down, it comes back up, and that's just the way it goes. And so these people don't have to worry about buying and selling in a period of time. They have a lot of money typically, and so they know that they're going to hold on to this property not just for 2 years, not just for 5 years, but probably 10, 15 years. They have the capacity to do that, so it doesn't scare them. So they're building mansions and mansions and mansions, huge, huge, huge product. So we just like to participate where the big guys are participating. We want to follow their lead. If Lennar Homes is building homes in a new community because they just did a whole bunch of Amazon plants, we're going to follow them. We're going to say, you know what, there's an attraction in this area. Lennar's going there. KB Homes is going there. Why are they going there? Oh, well, Amazon is just, so not do the people that move to these areas for these jobs just buy new homes. Some of them like to not hear their neighbors going to the bathroom in the morning or listening to them have dinner or whatever because you're 4 feet away from them in a new built community. Some of them like to live maybe where there's some fruit trees and then, traditions in the community on a 1/4-acre lot where you don't hear what's going on next door. There are some people that like those homes. And if you're a realtor, this is your product. This is Belwood's product. This is mold for gold, right? It's these older homes in these older communities that people want to move into, but they like the new car smell. Belwood provides the new car smell, right? And it runs like a Ferrari. It's kind of like Cuba, right? They were stuck with all these 57 Chevys, but these 57 Chevys have like fuel injection and they've been perfectly built and modified and whatnot because they didn't have any cars coming in. So we're not quite Cuba, but what we are is taking something, what we have, and making it perfect with the resources that we have. So tremendous opportunity for agents out there. But in Loma Vista or in Beverly Hills, Truesdale, you can find these gems. Talk about a product. Now, realtors, if you find a property and we resell, like some of these properties are $15 million. Like that's our goal for Beverly Hills, Loma Vista, is a resell at $15 million. That's at 3%. That's what, $450,000 worth of potential commission, 3%. So that's a lot of money. And not many people make that in 1 year, let alone with one transaction. Now, if you have this opportunity with Belwood, not just to do this one time, but to do several over many years, well, then you can create a system around that because we're going to be around forever and we would like to work with you forever. So regardless of whatever rules are being implemented, we'll keep the commissions the same and you'll know what you can expect with Belwood if you're bringing us product. And some of this product, I was talking about what we have inside of it, these kitchens. We're putting in steam rooms. We're putting in saunas. I'm even looking at a cryo room. A cryo room. Yeah. It almost makes me want to cryo looking at the price tag. I was looking at these. So I'm thinking, okay, cool. It's a room. It's got some steam coming out of it or what it looks like steam. It's got an LED light in there. Cool. I see the fly when I see these things. I don't know if you've seen the Jeff Goldblum movie Fly, but that's kind of what these cryo rooms look like. Yeah, don't shut the door with a fly in there. You're going to come out with a thick old hair coming out of your back. So kind of a scary looking contraption. And I always think like, what if you get stuck in there? What if you get stuck in a cryo room and they're going to wake you up in a million years? Like, hey, you've been frozen in your own house. No, you're dead, right? So that's kind of a scary aspect, I think, of a cryo room. You can tell I've never been in one and I won't. I would do a cold plunge. That's bad enough. And I've done it like 3 times. So the cryo room, let's talk about that. How many times have you been in a real estate investment, if any, where you've had to make a decision on whether or not you're going to put a cryo chamber in a Beverly Hills 90210 luxury mansion? Now, if you'd have told me that, asked me that question when I was a kid, I would have said when I was 40, right? Like God has worked in some tremendous ways to really make my visions come true. Like I've gone down some interesting paths to where we got to where we are right now, but I wouldn't change anything. So with that being said, I would have said yes, but some of you would have said no. I would have never imagined investing in real estate at that high of level, let alone even participating in any real estate investment. I can barely afford my rent. What do you mean? Well, Belwood is for you. Belwood is the democratization of real estate investments. We want to work with the people that never thought they could invest in real estate. We want to work with you. You are our target. We want to empower those who thought they couldn't do this. Real estate investing has been held close to the vest by the rich, right? There's a reason why you have to be an accredited investor to be in some of these real estate investment trusts. Now, to me, that always bothered me. So you're going to limit somebody's education by their income. And I'm going to tell you right now, I know folks that make a lot of money that probably shouldn't according to that method. So with that being said, they've made some adjustments, but ultimately one needs to have $1 million worth of wealth minus their primary residence. That means if you have $1 million worth of equity in your home, if you live in it, you can't count that towards your wealth. You either need to make $300,000 with you and your spouse, or I believe $200,000 individually, have $1 million worth of assets. That's a high bar, guys, and one that me and the majority of my friends growing up didn't reach, but always would have loved to. This is for you. Belwood is for you. Belwood is to take something that was out of reach, make it reachable, and give you the tools to be successful. We're not going to throw you to the wolves. This is not a, we'll train you, charge you a bunch of money to do it, and then say, good luck. No, we're going to hold your hand through this entire process. We're going to secure your money, something that other companies don't do. And we're going to give you access to that operation. We're going to show you what's going on. And if you even want to visit that home, you want to put on that hard hat and sign your life away, then we'll walk you through that home. You can kick the wall. If you want to throw a sledgehammer at a wall and do some demo at the beginning of a project, we could probably work that out. Could you imagine going to Apple and say, hey, I'm an investor. I would love to give you some input or try the new swipe or the up or the volume buttons, or maybe give you some input. Can I vote on the Face ID? It doesn't really see me when I have my Botox done. Is there another way? Or when my sunglasses on it, there's no communication there. They're going to send you a chart and an email or whatever, green lines, blue lines, some numbers, projections. Oh, we went up by 0.02% today. We went up this, down. All of which is susceptible to a CEO making a dumb decision. Now, let's talk about, and this probably could be a completely different episode, and it probably will be, so forgive me if I repeat myself at a later time. But investing in stocks and investing in, let's say, Microsoft or something like that, not only does it limit your potential, but it allows for you to really provide them to achieve their dreams. Okay? The biggest goal of one in life, as far as material things, is to own real estate. That's the common denominator between all man on earth is owning land, real estate. There's talk about this in the Bible, across to, the Quran, the Torah. I mean, real estate is a thing, and it's a treasured thing, right? Our families are raised there. Our crops are grown there. Our businesses are held there, right? There's value, and it's been going up since day one, okay? So it's a treasured investment. However, access to it has been limited. It's so much easier to invest in Microsoft or Apple or Tesla and get a very limited scope of what's going on with that company. Again, red lines, green lines, percentages. You're not able to go to the Tesla plant, I'm sure, and do test drives or give feedback. And forgive me if you are. I don't own any Tesla stock. I don't fall for the Kool-Aid there. I'm not going to drink it. When I can invest in real estate, and most of you would invest in real estate if you understood that Belwood is here for those purposes, to give you that access, to grant you this partnership, to grant us this partnership, this unique system that has been held away from us. So folks have been investing in stock and enriching the owners of those companies and the shareholders of those companies. Meanwhile, those people take that wealth and they invest in what? Real estate. So folks, if you want to not only make money in real estate, but own it, skip making them wealthy with maybe the potential of making you some wealth, and cut straight to the chase and go right to the investment, because there's plenty of it. The access is here now, and you don't have to worry about being an accredited investor, because we give you a pink slip. We give you security. We give you a product. We share an interest in this property. You're a lender. You're holding the capacity, the same strength as Wells Fargo does. When they lend to somebody, they secure it with a note that describes their deed of trust and what is about, like your interest rate, your fees, and so on and so such. Like, this is as much security as them. We provide this partnership. So not only have we made something secure, we've made it transparent, we've made it fun, we've made it accessible, but we've also given the opportunity to just enjoy the opportunity, right? We want to make this fun. So for those of you who have been looking for a way to get into the real estate investment world, that is Belwood. We're your ticket. So, if you have ever been interested in real estate investment this is something that really kind of gets you going, I really want you to go to our YouTube channel, check us out, download, subscribe, like, do all those things. Not only do that, but I want you to make sure that you listen out for the Big Moves podcast every time we make an episode. Why? Because I'm going to be sharing vital information about Belwood, where we're going. I mean, it wasn't that long ago where $1 million home was the most we would pay for a home. Now I'm looking at homes for $20 million. I was looking at Charlton Heston's home, right? It's long ago. A Moroccan billionaire bought it. I mean, and never spent a day there. I'm stepping into these projects, guys, that were out of reach, but now they are within reach. So I want you to listen to the Big Moves podcast. When we come out, it's going to have vital information. And once again, guys, it's always a pleasure sharing this new real estate investment opportunity. Keep an eye out for our next episode. Talk to you later.